What's going on, guys? So tomorrow we have a pretty awesome shard summoning event going on. Now, with that said, we also have a lot of events going on. I want to kick this off with talking about tomorrow's event, which is this Tuesday, February 4th, tomorrow. We're having an extra legendary event for ancient shards. Basically, if you open a legendary from one ancient, you're going to get an extra legendary from that same ancient shard. If you're relatively close to Mercy on ancients, this is an amazing time to actually go for it because, well, you're going to get two legendaries from one ancient shard. You won't be charged extra silver, although keep in mind that the extra champion won't be counted towards quests, events, or tournaments, which, as far as I'm aware, there's none of the following. Now, the reason why this one is especially interesting is because this lasts for 48 hours, which is pretty normal, but there are also some 15x progressive chances going on alongside it with some amazing champions. Specifically for me, Feral the Barkhorn. Now, Tuesday, February 4th, the same day as the extra legendaries launched, 15x chance event for Sun Wukong, Lady Kimmy, Feral, Bells the Reckoner, which was a recent Decafade, I think, champion, and King Galkabar. Then you also have Lady Noelle, Supreme Gallic, and Fighty Tealcrest. Now, these three champions are good. Lady Noelle, I think, is a little bit extra good because of the current bugs with her in the arena. And basically, they're supposed to be fixing it soon, but she's, instead of reducing the enemy's speed by 10% if they have freeze, she's just reducing the enemy's speed by 10%. So if you have 400 speed, now you have 40 less speed. So not great, surpassive right here. But once she's fixed, she's still great. I think she's an awesome champion, but she won't be as amazing. If you've gone against her and like, dang, I can never win a speed race when she's on the team, well, that's exactly why. It hasn't been fixed yet, and it's definitely annoying a lot of the high-end live arena and classic arena competitors. Now, this day is really good for the Ancients, I believe. The next day, though, is going to be really good for the Void Shards. So on Wednesday, February 4th, this is also going to last 24 hours. So the extra legendary event is going to overlap both of these. So if you want one of these non-void or affinity legendaries, pull during Tuesday. But if you'd rather have one of these, then pull during Wednesday. Get a 15x chance. Matter of fact, I recently pulled during a 15x chance during an extra legendary event and actually got Fina for this account, which is awesome. One sacred and got legendary, which is pretty cool. Doesn't happen very often. But on Wednesday, we're having the 15x chance for Grand Oak Padrick. Amazing champion. I use him in most Fire Knight takeovers I do. He's in the team. He is just so good. Stock the Broken, also a very good champion who was kind of overlooked as a fusion, but I mean, a lot of players looked at him for like solo type content, but I've seen him pop up more and more in Siege and the arena as well. Elva Autumnborn, Wither the Crowned, which Elva, very good in Chimera. You'll see her a lot in Chimera teams. Lady of Ireth, which is good for some cooldown resets. I think the first day is a little bit stronger. But then looking at the Void champions, we have Cernic, Senna Amberheart, which is the meta for Chimera, and then Rock of Viletide. For me, Senna would be amazing. I'd be considering pulling for her, but there's one big thing potentially coming up that's going to prevent me from doing that. But my plans will be to pull some Ancients tomorrow, maybe use some gems, hopefully pick up a Feral the Barkhorn. It's the best time to actually get him, the best chance to get him. So if you guys decide to go for it, best of luck to you all. If I was going to pull for the Void 15x, it'd be for Senna. I think Senna is an amazing champion. She is the top of the top for Chimera stuff just because of her passive and how it works. But if you're somebody more focused on PvP, then I wouldn't even worry about it. It just really depends on where your focus is at, because these ones are not necessarily PvP legendary Void champions. You'd be waiting more for like the Taras, Marichka, Odin, those types of champions. Now, with Senna, she's down here. Her passive, whenever a continuous heal buff activates on any ally, fills the turn meter of all allies by 5%. Now, her A1 ability has a chance to instantly activate continuous heal, and then her A2 is going to place 2 continuous heals. So put her in a 9-piece protection. I believe that's the most popularly used build, and she's going to be boosting the damage, boosting the turn meter, basically like an Energizer Bunny for your Chimera team. It's crazy. The difference between her damage and teams without her damage is basically like the difference between Trunda Hydra teams and non-Trunda Hydra teams. She does struggle with getting the trials done a little bit more, I've noticed, with the teams, but still, you're doing so much damage. Very good for Chimera Clash. So with these events, what else do we have going on? Well, we have the champion training. So if you're doing this, if you're going for the Cheshire Cat Soul, which I honestly recommend you going for if you have him. I think it's a huge upgrade picking it up from here. Personally, I could win this event. I'm not going to go for it. One, I didn't do anything yesterday. I don't love sniping during these events, especially as being a content creator. With this account, I think it's a little bit unfortunate if I don't like sniping, just my personal preference. It is perfectly fine strategy. It's a very solid strategy. But for me, I don't love doing it. Just like I said, my personal preference. So I'm not going for this at all. I don't have the champion. This dude probably has the champion. He probably wants this soul and he could use it more than me. I'm not going for it. But if you can, an amazing time to go for it. The reason why is because Ancient Shards, tons of food champions. You're going to have a ton of champions actually level up through the process. You're going to get more points. You're going to be able to actually push further in this event, and you're going to hopefully pick up an extra legendary. So this pairs very well with that extra legendary event from Ancient Shards specifically. Now, alongside that, we have the Queen's Fury tournament tomorrow, which I will finish out the tournament at least, maybe a little bit extra, because in addition to that, well, we have the teacup points, but we also have a Dungeon Diver event going until tomorrow. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to finish this up from the Queen's Fury tournament. But we also have a Soul Chase tournament. Now, just like Sacred Shards aren't valuable in Champion Chase tournaments because you're going to get an epic worth 250 points or a legendary worth, I think, like 1,000. It's a big range there, and you're probably just going to get epics. The Eternal Soul Stones are tempting to pull during this event, but the chances of you getting an epic are also very high. So personally, like I like to save Sacred Shards for Summon Rush events. I prefer to save Soulstone or Eternal Soulstone specifically for Soulstone Rush events. So the event versus the tournament. Because in the events, you're getting a guaranteed amount of points per shard, or even like Deck of Fates, things like that, where I know, hey, I'm going to get this many points from this Eternal Soulstone. I don't have to worry about gambling, nothing like that. It's just a flat number of points, because you're probably going to come up with some epics in there. I mean, the rates aren't that great. So from Eternal Soulstones, a 75% chance of getting a 5-star and a 60% chance of getting an epic. I cannot tell you how many 5-star epics I've gotten from this. Now, on the flip side, you could get a mythical 6-star and all of a sudden come out with like your whole event finished in that one Soulstone. So it is up to you, but I think I'll be holding off most likely for Soulstone Rush events because they typically have some pretty solid rewards, or a Deck of Fate. Now, with the whole idea of holding versus using your shards, the Valentine's Fusion last year started February 2nd. It's obviously not starting that time this year because we're already past that date, but it'll probably be starting next week or so. And with that, there's often, or at least last year, there was a Narcisse guaranteed event, which Narcisse, in case you're not aware, is one of the top damage dealers. Like, he is the meta as far as nukers. He is, well, other than mythicals, he is one of the best Void legendary champions. This champion was guaranteed from Void shards last year. Be very careful with your Voids, especially over the next 2 days. There's no boosted rates. There's a 15x, but there's no like 2x or anything like that. But if you're going to plan to pull for a potential guaranteed champion, if they're on the level of Narcisse, you're not going to want to miss out on them. I can promise you that. So if you have Voids relatively close to 110 or so, do not pull them. Just save them. Because with the Valentine's champion, there's probably going to be an extra or a guaranteed champion event as well. Whether it's a just strictly guaranteed or if it's Deck of Fate, something along those lines, it's probably going to happen. I mean, Ancora was the Fusion last year. Top tier amazing champion. So good. So basically, you're not going to want to miss her during the Fusion, and you're not going to want to miss Narcisse. So while tomorrow's event may be enticing to pull on, if you need to save your ancients for future champion chases, that may be the best idea. Until we get more information on the actual Fusion, I would be on the side of, okay, let's save these ancients. Unless there's just a ton of champions you need, I think it's just going to be best to save them. I am going to be saving the Voids. Maybe if something came up, I'd pull down to maybe like 50. But for now, I'm just saving them. There's no reason to blow them because, hey, once the guarantee comes in, it's going to destroy 110 of my shards, basically. And then I'll have 56. So I'm going to be far more limited then to maybe hit a different 15x champion event, something like that. So just keep that stuff in mind. We have a lot of events coming up the next few days with the Soulstone, the Energy, the potential Fusion, probably next week or the week after. Not the week after, right? Next week is the week of Valentine's Day, isn't it? Probably need to figure that out. Honestly, probably need to figure that out. But we also have the Summon Pool event. Now this, the Knave of Hearts, I didn't do much testing with this champion, but it didn't seem like to be like super exciting. Maybe she is good. But the champions down here, they are interesting. They're really good if you don't have them. but they're probably not game changing. I don't think this is a super valuable summon pool personally, but if you need some of these champions, the epics are good. I mean, Ornn is top tier. Magnar is great. Husk is good. These champions, some of these are used for Mikage Fusion, so this stuff is good. But the legendaries, they do get some use, but nothing crazy. Knave of Hearts is probably going to be what you go for, so it's up to you if you actually want to get her. But ultimately, we got a lot of events, guys. We have a whole lot of stuff going on right now. All of this with the Tea Party Titan event included as well, which I'm making good progress on. Hoping to get I'm going to finish it. I'm going to get everything. I don't think I've missed any events yet. I need to finish out some of the events, but I'm pretty sure I'm on track, which is awesome. But guys, that is the update for this week. Best of luck in whatever you go for. Remember, Clan Siege is tomorrow, so if you're going to be adjusting your defenses, equipping your champions with the best gear possible, do that today. As long as you make those changes before Siege starts, that'll go into effect during Siege, and you can change it as soon as Siege starts. So just make the changes. When Siege starts, switch back to your original builds. I mean, it's the best thing to do. Put your best gear on your champions for Siege. And if you want to do it for free, basically, just come in here and use one of the, not this, but use the free gear removal. We get one from the Tea Party Titan event anyways, so if you're close to this, 3 hours, maybe do it just before Siege starts and remove it after Siege begins. I'm not going to be awake at the time, but you can maybe do that. Either way, guys, best of luck in your Siege, best of luck in your events this week. Let me know what you plan on going. Do you plan on hitting the first day of the extra legendary or the second day of the extra legendary? I think I'm probably going to go for this first day. I could go a few gems into this, but I'm really wanting to save gems for the Queen's Fury tournament. Also, got something big planned for next week, so we're going to see how that goes. But either way, thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all. Best of luck, and I'll catch you in the next one.